Father's Day started in the early 20th century in the United States to celebrate fatherhood and to complement Mother's Day. It was first celebrated on June 19th, 1910 in Spokane, Washington. I know Father's Day is just a politically correct holiday, but everyone that has not seen Dark Knight's video about how important fathers are, I recommend that you watch that if you have not seen it yet. For me, my father is a very hardworking man and an immigrant son from Germany's occupied Poland. My grandfather and my great-grandfather saw some of the horrific events that took place there. I talk about this since my grandfather's experiences were used to raise my father. My father raised myself and my younger brothers. As I research epigenetics and from my own knowledge and experience, I think memories and trauma can be generation, and environmental factors from previous generations are passed down. My father faced depression, religious persecution, and religious profiling, but through all these horrific situations he faced in youth, hard work and dedication allowed him to build the wealth and knowledge that he used to create a family and enjoy a monetary safety net in the future. For a period of my youth, I disliked him, but I couldn't not blame him, for he tried to do what he thought was best in this situation. He had the very hands-off liberal style of parenting, let the kids experience life in their own way and help with the basics. At the time, my medical state was deteriorating and symptoms were starting to show. I could not do sports, I could not relate to him, and my grades were failing and other problems were occurring. He thought the best thing to do was send me to the professionals, the medical professionals, and to try to get the best medical care he could find. Unfortunately, the doctors he sent me to could not help me, so he thought the best thing to do was to try to find interest and life skills that he was not able to do in his youth. For me, it was computers and electronics, and the best thing I found was sitting down with him and with a test circuit board and creating different electronic devices. Then he got my first computer and taught me how all the parts go together, and some of the programming projects he worked on as a student in school, where the computers use punch cards in the size of a room. He also devoted time for my brothers and taught them skills needed to work within the system and to live on their own. My brothers got his interest in music, arts, and my other brother got his interest in sports and math. However, the best skill he taught his children was personal responsibility and hard work. Still, during my school time, my father and mother worked to provide the cost of my medical supplies and visits to hospitals and doctors. For the longest time, though, since they were both working, the school was my parent for most of the day, and only my father had time after work and the vacations that he got to participate in activities together, like building computers and other family outings. He was working in the corporate world and often was away on business trips. One day he came home and told the family he had been let go and he only had a few months left to close out his job. I've lost his reliance on medical benefits, and also this upset me and made me mad and frustrated and angry at him and angry at the situation. I thought, how could you let me down when I need the services to live well? And he could tell I was upset and mad at him. But one day he sat me down and told me that it's not my fault and it's out of his control and he'd figure something out. My mother's job would not cover me since I had pre-existing conditions. I saw my father burn out looking for work, and after a few months he decided to follow his dreams and go his own way of sorts. He created his own business, and I could not blame him for that, and over time our relationship grew back to normal. Today my father still jokes around a bit too much for my liking about some of my weaknesses, and health problems and sometimes does not grasp the severity of it. My mother was the one that took me to the majority of health providers, so he may not understand it. He's still very part of the system and has the old world mindset passed down from my grandfathers. And when I tell him a doctor got it wrong or something non mainstream, he does not quite get it. But as time passes and my brother's starting to also have health problems, our relationship has grown. I still have periods of anger about him, about my father, though he seems to have done a lot more research into my brother's health condition than mine because it's a more common condition, and my brother's still at home and I'm out on my own. However, I would not be the same person I would be today without my father, and my father and my mother and brother now operate the family business, and he's thriving in his own way.